So at one occasion, Buddha and his chief disciple, Venerable Sariputta, were living in a country called Anga in India. And the location is called a village called Aapana. So that's a very interesting question asked by the Buddha from Venerable Sariputta. And he's asking if someone has fair amount of faith in the Buddha and kind of a dedication of the Buddha's teaching, would there be any kind of wavering in him, or would there be any kind of doubt in him or perplexity in him about the Buddha or the Dhamma? The kind of an unusual question that Buddha is in a way asking. So in a way, Buddha is telling that he is having certain amount of faith with the Buddha. There's a kind of a full confidence about the Buddha and his teaching. But anyway, he is asking, would that person can have any kind of a wavering, any kind of a doubt, any kind of a perplexity about the Buddha or his teaching? Now the Venerable Sariputta, of course, answering that it can't be. He is simply saying, Yoso bhante arya savako tathagate ekanta gato. Bhante, when a person who is having a fairly dedicated faith on the Buddha and then abhippasanno, that means he has a fair confidence, a kind of unwavering kind of confidence, a faith. Naso tathagateva tathagata sasaneva kankeyeva vichikicchayavati. So then he may not have any kind of a doubt, any kind of a perplexity about the Tathagata, about the Buddha and his teaching. So this is the answer simply Venerable Sariputta is saying. Anyway, he is elaborating that further. So that is where actually the interesting part coming in. So now he is explaining, when a person have such kind of a faith, now he is going to practice in it. So he is mentioning, actually, when this person has certain amount of faith, then what it can lead him is that evang patikanka. He can expect something like this. Yang aradha video viharissati. So he is going to have some amount of effort. Now he is going to have some effort for what? Akusalanam dhammanam pahanaya, kusalanam dhammanam upasampadaya. In order to develop wholesome qualities and to abandon unwholesome qualities. Thamava dalha parakkamu. And he is having it as a kind of a strong effort. And he is exerting a very strong effort to that. And anikkhitta duro kusalesu dhammesu. And he is not going to give up that in between. So basically that means he has started a kind of an effort and he is having it strongly, and he is not going to stop it in between. There may be various obstacles coming on in his way, but he has this unwavering kind of effort, relentless kind of effort. So that is one important thing. As a result of having faith, he is going to have. He's not merely faithful, but now he is putting himself into practice. So there, what Venerable Sariputta first highlight is the effort. Because you know that at the beginning, we may have a lot of defilements. We may have a lot of hindrances. Hindrances are so powerful. So we may need fair amount of effort to overcome them, to subside them, and please to keep them check. So that means, so we need fair amount of effort. So that is the effort that first mentioned by Venerable Sariputta. And there he mentioned, so this is the faculty of effort. This is what we call as the virya indriya. So faculty of effort. Now, after that, Venerable Sariputta continues, he says, when a person is having some dedicated faith, also he has this kind of a strong effort. Now he does not stop there. He is now start practicing mindfulness. Saddassa hi bhante arya savakassa aradha viriyassa etam patikanka yang satima bhavissati. Now he is going to develop mindfulness. So that you can understand how, that's why we are gathered here at Kalalgoda. So we are conducting a meditation retreat here. We are trying to develop mindfulness using various methods. So that means, so we are faithful on Buddha's teaching, faithful about the Buddha. And again, we are having a fair amount of effort. And what we are trying to do right now is to practice mindfulness. And now Venerable Sariputta further explains, as we develop mindfulness further and further, so that mindfulness become available to us. So we feel, okay, I can maintain mindfulness during walking. I can maintain mindfulness while sitting. When I'm paying attention to breathing, I can watch breaths, several breaths, maybe 100 breaths, maybe 150 breaths continuously. Maybe while I'm sitting, I can keep attention to various phenomena. Whatever the bodily phenomena arising, I can maintain some attention. Or while walking, I can maintain some attention, maintain awareness, body awareness during the walking. So likewise, we start recognizing the quality of mindfulness. So very much like a monitoring process is being started, initiated, developed. And now we are further and further improving that. And one interesting quality highlighted here by Venerable Sariputta, once we reach the faculty of mindfulness, what we call as Sati Indriya, once we reach the faculty of mindfulness, he is mentioning Paramena Sati Nepakkena Samannagato Chirakatampi Chirabhasitampi Sarita Anusarita. So he reaches an unwavering kind of mindfulness. A fair amount of mindfulness is available. So almost like throughout the day, you have fair amount of presence of your mind. So added advantage of this, so kind of a benefit of this is the memory, improvement of the memory. Sati Nepakkena Samannagato Chirakatampi Chirabhasitampi Sarita Anusarita. So you are able to memorize whatever you have done long time ago. You can remember whatever the activities, maybe bodily activities, maybe what we have mentioned, what we have spoken long time ago, like what you have said it today. A kind of a very clear mentality is there. So your mind has become fairly clean, clear, and all the time you are trying to maintain mindfulness. So whatever the activity you have done, whatever the speech you have made, everything is fairly, very much like effortlessly recorded in your mind. At a later time, you can reveal it, or you can recall it. So as a result of that, Venerable Sariputta is saying, okay, you have this, what we call as Sati Indriya, faculty of mindfulness. Now, after that, he is further explaining. Saddasahi bante arya savakassa, aradda viryassa, upattita satino, etam patikanka. So when certain person has faith, that is a saddha, and he also now have fair amount of effort, and now he is developing mindfulness. Now he has mindfulness also. Now as he is continuing, he is developing another quality, that is the, we can say, the collectedness of the mind. That is the samadhi. So you know that, assume that we are practicing anapanasati, mindfulness on breathing. So you are again and again keeping your attention to several breaths. So you are improving that quality, you are improving that skill. So you are able to maintain your attention 10 breaths, you are able to maintain your attention for 20 breaths, you are able to maintain your attention for, say, 100 breaths. So more and more now mind is well collected to you, and you can keep your attention closer to the nostril. So that means certain amount of collectedness is happening. Previously, mind has very much like shown a kind of a restless behavior, but now it has become somewhat calm. On the other hand, previously it is being shifted from one object to the other object, but now it has somewhat restrained itself, and now it is keeping attention only on the breath. And previously it is very much like scattered, but now it is fairly collected. Now a certain amount of another quality you can recognize developing as a result of this practice, collectedness of the mind. You can focus your attention onto something. You are selecting a particular object where you want to focus your attention, and consistently you can keep your attention there for a while. That quality or that skill is now being developed. Previously, you are able to keep your attention for 1 minute. Now you can keep your attention for 5 minutes. Now you can keep there, for example, 20 minutes. So likewise, you can maintain your attention at a particular selected place for a longer time. So this is where we understand, okay, now mind getting collected, concentrated, focused for a considerable period of time. Now you start developing the concentration, samadhi. Now, as you practice Anapanasati, most of you might have experienced that the breathing becomes soft, breathing becomes subtler, and the in-breath and out-breath almost like become subtler and subtler, very short maybe. And sometimes you might even fall asleep, or sometimes various distractions can happen, various signs can happen, and you might even change your object. So these are the wrong decisions what we have taken and kind of obstacles we might encounter. Suppose that you are able to overcome all those difficulties or those obstacles, but you are consistently keeping your attention on the breathing. The next challenge is that the breathing becomes subtler and subtler, and ultimately even breathing become almost non-perceivable. You can't even perceive whether I'm breathing. So all of a sudden you might get afraid and you might open your eyes and you want to check whether your heartbeat is there or whether I'm going to die, I'm not getting enough oxygen. So you might have all these different kind of obstacles. Again, you might fall asleep, or there could be various perceptions, there could be various doubts. That also can happen. So these are the kind of obstacles that we might encounter every time. On such situations, we have to again align our attention back to the nostril. We have to align our attention back to the breathing. And if we fall asleep, again, we have to rise up. If we feel kind of difficult, again, we have to arouse energy. So likewise, when we collapse, again, we have to rise up. So that means the effort is also developing. And again, if we drift our attention to something else, if we get distracted, again, we have to align ourselves, establish mindfulness. And again, if we have shifted completely distracted or completely scattered, again, we need to collect. Now you can see these are the kind of drawbacks, or we can say difficulties, obstacles we might encounter. But as you are continuing further and further, you are able to handle them. And even when breathing becomes subtler and subtler, you are able to maintain your attention at the nostril. And ultimately, as I mentioned, it can even be subtlest. You can't even perceive it. You can't even see whether I'm breathing or whether it is the in-breath or out-breath, or almost like it disappeared. Even such situation, without fall asleep, without getting distracted, without being afraid, can you keep your attention at the nostril? So this is a kind of a skill that we need to develop. So even when object has become almost like non-perceivable, if you are able to keep your attention at the nostril for a considerable period of time, so this is where we are arriving the faculty of samadhi or the samadhi indriya. Previously, actually, only several breaths, maybe only single breath, but later several breaths, maybe 100 breaths later, then maybe 200 breaths. But now what we are talking is a very subtle object, and that subtle object even might have disappeared, but still we are able to maintain our attention at the nostril. So this is where Venerable Sariputta mentioned, Vassaggarammanam karitva labissati samadhi labissati chitta sekaggatang yohissa bhante samadhi tadassa samadhi indriya. Even when you don't perceive any object, mind has almost abandoned the object, even such situation, if you are able to maintain your attention where you want, then that indicates the samadhi indriya, the faculty of concentration. Okay, now we have come to another level. So fair amount of necessary skills are now available. What we have certain amount of faith. Dedicated amount of faith is there. Further, we started developing the practicing of mindfulness. Now the mindfulness is also available. So you know how to establish mindfulness. For that, you might have encounter various objects, maybe breathing, maybe rising and falling, maybe walking, maybe daily activities. Many things are available. So you know how to do it. Now the faculty of mindfulness is also there. And further, you have now the samadhi indriya, a fair amount of concentrated mind. So what are you going to do next? So next stage is the development of the vipassana, or development of the wisdom. Because here we need to understand, so mere mindfulness, a fair amount of concentration and effort, all that can bring us a fair amount of happiness, fair amount of joy. And your mind may be somewhat cool, very calm, relaxed, and your various thoughts might not be torturing you. So you may feel a little happy, but this is not the end. So with all these skills, now we have to start developing Vipassana, developing wisdom. So that is the next stage. Say you are selecting various elements, which is element characteristics available in the body. You're keeping your attention at those element characteristics, various sensations. Say you are able to recognize various phenomena. Say hardness, softness, maybe kind of heaviness, lightness, maybe roughness, smoothness. So these are the very subtle element characteristics of the earth element. Then maybe vibrations, movements. So these are the characteristics of the air element. Maybe you might feel sometimes heat, cold. So these are the characteristics of the heat element. And very rarely, probably even you might feel the kind of fluidity in the body or the cohesion of the body. So that is the water element. Now, this sometimes we call as the Mahabhuta, where are the four great elements and how they are manifesting. And they are actually showing their presence using those characteristics, what I have just explained. Now, one level of our practice is to come to this very subtle recognition of these characteristics. For that, actually, you need mindfulness. For that, you need to pay attention. You need to clearly keep your attention onto a particular place of your body, where this kind of hardness is available, where kind of vibration or movement is available, where heat is available. And once you keep your attention
Bhante, we can't hear you now. Bhante, we can't hear you. We have lost Bhante, I think, for the moment, probably the connection in Kalalgoda. Just please, let's be patient. Bhante hasn't logged in again, has he? I will try to unmute everybody. I think that's the best. Yeah, what? That's what I'm doing. Swamin Bhante, we have lost you, Bhante. Yeah, no worry. අපි අයින්නම් only thing අර එනකොට ආයි මං අර co-host කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක පේන්න ඕනේ. අර වෙලාවේ others were coming in and ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ නමට co-host වෙනවා. ඒකයි උනේ. This time it won't happen. Right. Bhante is having a issue with the internet, so he's trying to connect again. So let's please be patient. Right.
Okay. So sorry about the disturbance. So we are going to learn Vipassana, where the impermanence. So we now have actually certain qualities which are actually the faith about the Buddha and his teaching. And then we talked about something about effort, certain amount of effort is there. And once there are obstacles, we are able to rise up. That means the effort, faculty of effort is there. And then we discuss about mindfulness, how when someone is having faith and the effort, you start your practice, mindfulness is there. And so mindfulness ultimately take us to another advantage, another benefit. So that is the availability of the concentration. Now, once mind is concentrated, we understood, okay, it has different levels. And one level is the faculty of concentration, where even you can't perceive the object, almost like it has disappeared. Still, you are able to maintain your attention at the place you want. So this is a little difficult task actually, because we need a gross object to hang on. We need a gross object to keep our attention. But now you can see that the object almost has disappeared, but you are able to maintain your attention without getting distracted. Now, this is what we call as the Samadhi Indriya, the faculty of concentration. Now, with all these ammunition available, let's start Vipassana. Now you are keeping your attention onto the body, various phenomena are available. You are able to observe their behavior. So as a result of that, you are slowly understanding their true nature. And there are maybe other areas. Let me say you are practicing Vedananupassana. You are trying to recognize various feelings. Maybe painful feelings are there, pleasurable feelings are there, maybe equanimous feelings are there. So you are keeping your attention onto those feelings. At the beginning, they might not be very clear, but since you are more enthusiastic, since you have a little bit of curiosity, what's really going on, I want to learn about them, I am trying to investigate about their true nature, and you are equipped with effort, you are equipped with mindfulness, you are equipped with concentration. So all the necessary skills are available. Now it's a matter of kind of familiarizing or developing another skill, that is this investigation. Sometimes what we call as the Dhamma Vichaya. Tata sato viharanto tang dhammang panyaya pavichinati pavicharatu. So once you are establishing a fair amount of unwavering mindfulness, you have collectedness of the mind, effort is there. Now you are trying to investigate. So this investigation is the one revealing their true nature. Say you are investigating a painful feeling. Previously, you are actually hating painful feelings. You want to quickly get rid of it. But now, rather than get rid of them, you want to carefully pay attention onto those feelings. You are maintaining a kind of a balance. You step back and watch those painful feelings. And now slowly, you are able to understand their true nature, how they are arising, how they are existing for a while, and how it is slowly fading away. Or maybe even increasing the pain, or maybe fluctuating and assume that you are observing a pleasurable feeling. Previously, we were immediately jump to it. We want it, I want it, I am happy. But now you step back and watch a pleasurable feeling. So you have kind of a detached observing quality, or you have become a kind of a detached observer. Various feelings are there. You are able to detach and observe. And as a result of that, what happened is slowly, you are able to understand the true nature of the feelings. So these feelings are not permanent. These feelings are fairly non-governable. You have very kind of less control over them. Probably you can overcome a painful feeling by changing the posture. But apart from that, there is very less control over these feelings. So slowly, you are trying to understand their true nature. Now, say for example, you are practicing Chitta-Vipassana. You are trying to watch your mind. Actually, in order to do that, you need certain amount of skills in your hand. One thing is the mindfulness. The other one is this previous ability where you are able to recognize something properly or recognize something discreetly. What we call as the sampajanya, clear comprehension. So various information is there. You can discreetly look at it. You can discreetly locate your attention and then precisely look at that what you need, the exact location. So that ability is something that we are now developing. As a result of that, now even you can watch the mind. Because otherwise what happens is we immediately get driven by the thoughts, emotions happening in the mind instead of watching them. So as we have certain amount of experience of the body and various bodily feelings, so we have gained certain amount of skill. Now you can make use of that skill so that even thoughts you can recognize as merely thoughts. Say, for example, you have a lustful thought. Previously, you might get caught to a lustful thought. You become kind of even participating, you become even fertilizing it, you start feeding it, and ultimately you completely end up with lust, burned with lust. But now the situation is different. You are able to recognize lustful feeling as a lustful feeling. It's a quite different approach. Say, for example, you are able to recognize in-breath as in-breath, out-breath as out-breath. It is not my in-breath, it is not my out-breath, it is a mere in-breath, it is a mere out-breath. Similarly, you are able to recognize lustful thought as a lustful thought. It is not my lustful thought, it is not something belong to you, it is a mere lustful thought. So likewise, the more and more you can even recognize various thoughts, how they are nature, how they are coming out, and how long will they stay in your mind. And if you are not participating in them, or if you are not motivating them, if you are not kind of struggling with them, rather you are able to step back and watch them properly, objectively, then they start slowly fading away. And probably now you would be able to look at them, step back, but they are coming one after the other. Previously they came like a group, but now almost like you may perceive, thoughts are coming one after the other. It's quite easy for you to understand their true nature now. They are coming up, staying for a while, then going. Another one coming up, staying for a while, then also passing away. Probably as you are continuing, probably you might understand, okay, they are very quick now. They are coming and going, rising and passing away. They are not staying much longer in your mind. So what all these experiences tell us is kind of a teaching of the Buddha, where Buddha mentioned all the conditioned phenomena have three characteristics. Tinimani bhikkhave sankatani sankata lakkanani katamani tini upado panyayati vayo panyayati titassa anyadattam panyayati. So Buddha mentioned, so there are three characteristics that you can recognize in all the conditioned phenomena. What are they? You can recognize how they are arising, how they are passing away, and in between this arising and passing away, there is a continuous change. There is no any rest. Continuous change is there. So these are the three characteristics which is common to all the conditioned phenomena. So as you are further and further investigating maybe bodily phenomena, maybe feelings, maybe thoughts, maybe even if you are careful or skillful, probably you may be able to recognize various perceptions, various signs appearing in your mind without getting deluded by them, without personifying them, or without attaching a person into it. If you are able to step back and see, okay, this is merely a mental image, probably even that image may disappear, and you may understand, okay, they also have the nature to come and go, arise and pass away. Now, what the effect of this practice? Slowly, so you are understanding their true nature. This is helping to develop what we call as a detached mind or disenchantment, the nibbida. So you are not much interested about what is going on right now because you understood their true nature. So this true nature, this understanding, yathabhuta jnana dassana, helping to develop kind of a disenchantment. Now, a fair amount of dispassion is there. Previously, you are very much enthusiastic of this and that, and you want to show off, you want to become the first, you want to do this, you want to do that. So that kind of a motivation was there. But now you are a little bit careful. You want to be a little secluded. Let me be alone. I want to take care of my mind, what's really going on. So kind of a different attitude is now being developed in your mind. So the practice has helped us to change our character. Certain behavioral changes have happened, and you may be able to understand, okay, things are there. You are not much interested about them now. You have taken the back seat very much like. So this is an indication that the nibbida and viraga is working, that the dispassion and the disenchantment is working. And further, if you practice like this, probably you might experience thoughtless moments. Say while you are practicing, say, elements meditation, so you are able to recognize different phenomena. So slowly, those different phenomena quickly arising and passing away. And there may be situation, your mind get completely lifted up and you can't even perceive anything. Not even thoughts available. Probably you are practicing Vedananupassana, various feelings are coming and going, and you are able to observe them, and that also has disappeared, and not even thought available. And you may be experiencing, assume that you are practicing Chittanupassana, thoughts are coming and going, and you might experience gaps between thoughts, kind of space between thoughts. Ultimately, there is complete absence of thoughts. And at that time, so if you are able to pay attention to that space, just keep your attention there without holding to anything, without attaching to anything, without associating anything. So there's a kind of a breakthrough can happen. You're not attached to the body, you're not attached to feelings, you're not being deluded by perceptions, and you are not promoting any thinking, volitional activities, almost like no thinking going on, and there is nothing to hold. And you are not interested of anything. You are not motivating or you are not desiring anything. And there is no sign in the mind. So probably there could be a breakthrough, what we call as a kind of a vimokha mukha, kind of a little freedom of the mind, complete detachment of the mind can happen. Suppose if you are able to do that for some time, if you practice continue your practice again and again, this result is repeatable. you may understand, okay, I'm navigating through a kind of a practice. And once I reach a particular place, things are coming and going. And ultimately, everything's very much like stopped, subsided, and mind is released. I can't find out where I am. Almost like everything has stopped. Previously, there's a coming and going, changing, and you are getting to moods or you are getting to various thoughts, and you want to become something and you have those desires. But while you are going through this practice, you come to a situation, okay, everything is there. You are seeing their clear, you are seeing clearly their true nature. They are coming and going, arising and passing away. You are observing them carefully. And once you reach one point, you can't see anything. Mind also has stopped and no phenomena at all. And you can't understand, oh, what is the object of the mind? It is not that I am paying attention to the body. It is not that I am feeling much of the feeling, any kind of a feeling. I am not feeling any, the mind is quite spacious. There is no any mental image either. And there is even no thoughts, no intention. So this is, in a way, what we can understand is how the mind has released, that there is no any kind of object as such. And that state, if you are able to somewhat prolong, so you are able to stay there for 1 minute, you are able to stay there for 2 minutes, stay there for 5 minutes, stay there for 10 minutes. So likewise, if we are slowly consolidating that state, or we are familiarizing with that state, so then we feel, okay, I can stay there without much effort. Without any trouble, I can stay there. And you become somewhat familiar with that. And while you are there, you can feel, okay, there is no stress. And there is no object. There is no grasping. And one interesting another aspect is there is no I. You can't feel any ego. Because, for you to feel the presence of ego, for you to feel I, you need to have some kind of an attachment. You need to have some kind of a grasping. Upadayatiko also asmiti hoti no anupadaya. So this is a very interesting teaching made by Venerable Punnamanthaniputta to Venerable Ananda. So Venerable Ananda is recalling it with a lot of gratitude. Upadayatiko also ananda asmiti hoti no anupadaya. Ananda, if you have to feel the presence of you, if you want to feel the presence of I, the ego, asmi, the kind of a conceit, little conceit, there should be some kind of an attachment. There should be some kind of a grasping. But now at this level, once you reach this unattached, non-grasping state of mind, since there is no grasping, you can't feel the strong presence of you, strong presence of ego. So then almost like it might appear like a very boring state. Because you know that when we want to act strongly, so you're going to get excited, you want to feel angry, say you want to be lustful, so then there's a strong presence of person. So you are highlighted, so your personality is highlighted, you are strongly becoming an individual, so that ego is highlighted. But when there is no anger, when there is no lust, or when there is no any kind of a doubt, perplexity, then you can't find the presence of you. You can't find a strong personality, but very much like a very calm, relaxed, peaceful presence is there. Anyway, as you are continuing your practice, so you may understand, okay, this is an area we are need to properly balance, properly maintain. Otherwise, again, the mind go and slip with something, and again, mind go and attach with something. So slowly, you understand, okay, this is an area that I have to properly maintain the balance of everything. I have to properly maintain mindfulness and properly maintain the effort. If I am putting too much effort, again, I can't maintain that. If I am not putting enough effort, then I might fall asleep. And I have to maintain some amount of concentration, because even the object is almost like disappeared. You can't find an object. So the concentration faculty, the faculty of concentration, where you are capable of even maintaining an unwavering attention even without an object. So that is helpful. So all those previously developed faculties are now in proper balance. If so, now you are able to maintain a non-grasping mind. Now, let me come to the sutta now. Now, Venerable Sariputta is now further explaining Saddassahi Bante, Arya Savakassa, Aradda Viriyassa, Upattita Satino, Samahita Chittassa, Etang Patikankam. Now, the person who is having Saddha, faith, who is having Aradda Virya, the started the energy, and then he has a fair amount of established mindfulness, and then Samahita Chitta, he has the concentrated mind. For him, now he is practicing the Vipassana, the development of the wisdom. Now he can expect something like this. Now Venerable Sariputta is explaining. Anamataggo sansaro pubba koti na panyayati. So this sansara is kind of, we can't find the beginning. Avijja nivarananang sattanang tanha sangyojananam. So, I mean, we are carrying forward, or we are accompanying what we call as the avijja, the ignorance, and the tanha, that's a craving. Sandhavitang sansarata. So we are completely going from this end to the other end, from this life to the other end. It's a kind of an endless, beginningless kind of a sansara. So you have a kind of an understanding about it now. Now what happened? Then avijjayatteva tamo kayas asesa viraga nirodho. So if we are able to overcome that avijja, if we are able to overcome that ignorance, which is so dark, tamo kayas asesa viraga nirodho, if I am able to completely overcome that, santametam pada, then there's a possibility of experiencing santametam pada, a very sublime, very peaceful state. Panitametam padam, very sublime state. What it is, yadidang sabba sankhara samato, complete calming down of all the formation, sabba sankhara samato, sabbupadi parinissaggo, abandonment of all the acquisitions. So I have used various things to prepare myself. I have used various things to appear as a person, appear as an individual, to show off, to establish my ego. So all those upadi, all those acquisitions, now slowly, I am keeping them down. I am disclaiming them. So the now mind remains without any support. It has become very much like an independent mind. Sabbupadi parinissaggo, tanhakkayo. So the craving is slowly, very much like disappeared. It has gone far away. You can't feel any lust. You can't feel any kind of greed. Virago, instead you have dispassion. Nirodho, so you have stopped. Mind has stopped. It is not looking for a next moment. It is not looking for a next event. And you are not mentally living in a mind-made state. And Nibbana. And you have cooled down, calmed down. Yahisa Bante Panya Tadassa Panyindriya. Bante, this is the faculty of wisdom. So you can understand the faculty of wisdom is not a small thing where you become very clear about the path. Now we have discussed about 4 faculties. Saddha, still not, we haven't discussed about the faculty of Saddha, but we started with Saddha. When a person has Saddha, so he starts practicing. He's want to strive. He want to, put some effort. So then we discuss about the faculty of effort, Virendriya. So what he is practicing? So he is practicing mindfulness. So he is developing mindfulness. So we discuss about the faculty of mindfulness. Then as a result of the development of this faculty, mindfulness, effort, what's the result? Okay, you gain the ability to collect your mind. You gain the ability to focus your attention considerable time. That is ultimately become as a concentration faculty, samadhi indriya. So what are you going to do next? So that is the development of Vipassana. So we have all the three faculties ready. So with that, now we are developing the fourth faculty. So that is the Panyindriya, Panya Indriya, the faculty of wisdom. So the faculty of wisdom, actually the development of wisdom happened at various stages. Not immediately we arrive the faculty of wisdom. Rather, it may happen at different levels. As I have just explained, say you are keeping your attention onto various phenomena, you should be able to recognize them discreetly. Distinct recognition should be possible. Say when feelings are there, so you should be able to recognize, okay, this is a pleasurable feeling, this is a painful feeling, this is an equanimous feeling. Or if you are practicing Dhatu Manasikara, the animals meditation, you should be able to recognize, okay, this is hardness, this is softness, maybe this is tightness, this is smoothness, this is heaviness, this is lightness. Okay, this is vibration. So you're that proper recognition, investigation has to be available. That is another level of wisdom. So as I explained, further and further you observe like that, then you understand all these conditioned phenomena are showing certain characteristics. They have a beginning, they have an end, and in between they change. Upado panyayati, vayo panyayati, tassa anyatattam panyayati. So that's another level of wisdom. The more you practice, you may understand all the conditioned phenomena are impermanent. The knowledge of the impermanence. So more you are closely look at them, probably you might understand. So they can't escape this law of impermanence. They are constantly being very much like tortured through this law of impermanence. So it's a utter suffering. I can't expect happiness, a kind of a long-lasting happiness from this kind of a situation. So kind of a suffering going on. So you might look at from that angle and you might understand the characteristics of the suffering, the dukkha. On the other hand, how when these things are changing like this, how can I say it has my control? It is beyond my control. How can I say there is an intrinsic core in it or any kind of something substantial there? Even that is impossible. And you can't say that there's a lasting soul there because you perceive everything's there. So you can't say there's a lasting soul. So there you understand the characteristics of the non-self, the anatta. So that means you are developing further and further these various knowledges, various understanding, the insights. And we just discuss about the faculty of wisdom, the Panyindriya, where you understand, okay, once these faculties are developed, once they come to a proper balance, when certain amount of wisdom is developed, so it causes mind to get released, mind to become very much like lifted up without associating anything. Anisitocha viharati nachakinchi loke upadit. Without associating anything, without grasping anything in the world, now mind is simply, we can say, knowing things with a relaxed, stopped, calm, and non-associated state. So that is very much like the temporary Nibbana right now I am available. So that is something, Tadanga Nibbhuti. So Tadanga Nibbhuti is referred as a result of the Vipassana practice to the for the availability of the knowledges, to the amount of the wisdom that you have gained through the practice, your mind has calmed down. And all those various formations, mental formations, bodily formations, verbal formations, all are very much like subsided. Sabbha sankhara samato, everything has cooled down, calmed down. You feel kind of stopped. You are taking a very good mental rest. And things are very clear. The mind has become very spacious. There are no cluttered kind of confusion in the mind. Rather, it has become very simple. Everything's very clear, very clean. So likewise, you feel, okay, now till the power of the wisdom is there, till this wisdom, the insights are available, I can maintain that. But unfortunately, I can't maintain it longer because the defilements are still available. Then again, my mind collapse, again start attaching to something, again start grasping to something. So that is where I loses this Nibbana. Therefore, this is not a permanent Nibbana. This is not a permanent peace, but a kind of a temporary peace I found out through the Vipassana practice. Now, Venerable Sariputta say, now he become somewhat sure about it now. And Venerable Sir, now let me tell you the translation made by Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi about the faculty of wisdom. It is indeed to be expected, Venerable Sir, that a noble disciple who has faith, whose energy is aroused, whose mindfulness is established, and whose mind is concentrated, will understand thus. The samsara is without discoverable beginning. A first point is not discerned, of beings roaming and wandering on, hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. But the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance, the mass of darkness, this is the peaceful state. This is the sublime state. That is the stilling of all formations, the relinquishment of all acquisitions, the destruction of craving, dispassion, cessation, nibbana. That wisdom of his Venerable Sir is his faculty of wisdom. So you can see how Venerable Sariputta is taking us to another level. It is not the mere wisdom, it is not the mere insight, but you are very clear about the path now. You know what exactly you need to do. You know how to achieve a temporary peace, a kind of a temporary nibbana, but it is not yet permanent, it is not yet a kind of a perfect one, but you are somewhat clear about the path. So this is where Venerable Sariputta mentioned, okay, this is the faculty of wisdom. So let's go forward. Now Venerable Sariputta is summarizing. Saddoso bhante arya savako evang padahitva padahitva evang saritva saritva evang samadhitva samadhitva evang pajanitva pajanitva. So now he is further and further continuing. He is exerting effort again and again. He is developing mindfulness further and further. And he is concentrating again and again. And he is achieving this wisdom again and again. So striving such a way, again and again recollected in such a way. Again and again concentrated his mind in such a way. Again and again understood with wisdom in such a way. That means he is again and again achieving it. So this process is a repeatable process. So when things are coming in line, so he is achieving it. So he is now quite sure about it. Now what's the result? He is now sure. Imeko te dhamma yeme pubbe sutava ahesu. I have only heard about them previously. I heard something Buddha was talking about saddha. I heard something called virya, effort. I heard something about concentration, mindfulness, and even the wisdom. I have heard about them, but those were in the previously I have heard about them. But now, tenahang etarai kayena cha pusitva viharami. Now I am experiencing them. I have faith now. I have certain amount of effort now. I know what is effort. I know what is mindfulness. I am experiencing mindfulness. And I know what is exactly the concentration. Because I have gone through that practice. Now I have examined, I have personally experienced that sort of concentration. And I haven't just spent like that. I did the thorough investigation. As a result of that, now I'm experiencing the wisdom. It is no more a mere hearsay. It is no more something that I have simply heard, but it is something that I am experientially knowing now. This is a very, very interesting, strong statement made by Venerable Sariputta. So let me give you the translation by Bhikkhu Bodhi. And Venerable Sir, when he has again and again strived in such a way, again and again recollected in such a way, again and again concentrated his mind in such a way, again and again understood with wisdom in such a way, that noble disciple gains complete faith. Thus, as to these things that previously I had only heard about, now I dwell having contacted them with the body. Now you have contacted them. So this is the verifiable faith. So previously you simply thought about it. Maybe you had real trust with the Buddha and you assumed that he is telling the truth. You thought, okay, yes, Buddha's teaching is fairly logical and it's quite rational. It may be true. He never lie. So his character is very kind of an example. So should be a good person, should be a good teacher. So you have that kind of a, it is based on kind of an assumption. That is also a faith, by the way. But not really you felt it or you really experienced what are the qualities that he is talking. But now, using that assumed faith, now you start practicing, you exert certain amount of effort, you develop mindfulness, had the concentration, using that you are developing wisdom, and now you are experiencing those qualities by yourself. So you have become an example. You have become a living example to those qualities. And now the faith is what we call as the faculty of faith. So where this Venerable Sariputta is mentioning, Panyaya cha ativijja passamiti ya hissa bhante saddha tadassa saddhindriyanti. Now only you can say, I have the faculty of saddha. Now you have unwavering saddha because you yourself have understood this. You yourself has gained these kind of skills in you, these qualities in you, and it is no more something beyond or something away from you, but you are an example to these qualities now. In your mind, these things are available now, and your faith is actually a already verified faith now. So you have that faith. So this is what we call as the saddhindriya. And once this is mentioned, so Buddha says sadhu sadhu, sadhu sadhu sariputta. So Buddha recommended, Buddha actually commended, Buddha was quite happy about it, and he repeats the same thing what Venerable Sariputta has mentioned. And then it has become Buddha's words. And that is how actually the sutta finish, where Buddha kind of second what Venerable Sariputta has mentioned. And you can see, so we need certain amount of faith. So based upon that, actually we feel that I want to practice. So Buddha is a teacher, so he never lie. He has shown us the path. Let me practice. Let me jump to the water and swim. Now you start practicing, you start developing mindfulness, you are developing the effort. As a result of that, you are gaining the concentration. As a result of that, you gain in the wisdom. So when you are personally having all these available, now you are no doubt. There is no perplexity. Now you have firm effort, or rather the firm conviction, that is the faith, the faculty of the faith. Okay, that's what I want to highlight today using the Dhamma sermon. So the Buddha's teaching is something verifiable. The faith, what Buddha talks, is something verifiable, but you need fair amount of effort to do that. You need to develop mindfulness to do that. And you need to develop concentration to do that. And you need to develop wisdom to do that. And once you are equipped with these things, and definitely you can say, yes, what Buddha has mentioned is truth, and I am an example to that. So let's decide, or let's have a determination. So let us be a practicing Buddhist. Let us be a practicing Buddhist so that we can actually give a real kind of puja to the Buddha. That's a Patipatti puja through our own practice. So with that, I'd like to conclude today's Dhamma sermon. If you have any question, so feel free to ask. You are muted, Dr.
Yes, much merit, Bante, for that really wonderful sermon, which took us very, very far and deep into the path and the practice of what we know as the 5 faculties and into the meditation. Can I please ask those, since there are so many, whether they would like to place it on chat at the moment? And Venerable Olamde Ananda Mahathero, Bante, you can unmute yourself. I have made you a co-host, so you can unmute. Others are muted because of the need to have... can we ask for the chat whether we could have questions or any comments to be placed on the chat, please.